Well, hello everyone. Welcome to week 3. I hope you had a wonderful 3-day weekend. I'm going to make a very short video today because I want you to have this week to be working on your group projects. Hopefully you've now talked to everyone. There was a few changes. We had a few people that dropped the class, which happens every class. So if I took people out of your group, that's why. So you should be moving forward with the people that you have. But basically, you're looking at motivation this week, and our classroom and how we motivate people, and what are the ways to really get people to be productive, creatively productive. And I think that you will be really interested, if you haven't watched already, to Dan Peek's TED Talk. He's very interesting, and he's talking about work, but it really ties into the classroom because we have to decide as educators, what do we want from our students. And one of the things that I find interesting about what he says is, a lot of the things that we're doing in traditional business and in traditional education create complacency instead of engagement. And we have to find these ways to motivate our students out of complacency and into engagement. And, I just want to say now, many of you may be artists, writers, musicians, those types of things. But I can tell you that when I'm highly motivated to give my all to something, creativity is a big deal. And for me to be able to be creative, to write something or write an amazing song or whatever, I have to have autonomy. I have to be self-directed. And this reminds me, have you ever been, some of you have already had administrators that they want compliance more than engagement, although they say they want engagement, and they do things to micromanage meetings, or to call so many meetings that you're so overtired and you're so worried about punishment and reward, and you're having such a hard time dealing with the micromanagement that it takes away, you're not allowed to be self-directed, and therefore it takes away from creativity and engagement, the things that they want. They want you to be able to solve these problems, but what they're doing takes away from that. So, these are some things that we have to think about in the classroom. I mean, of course, we don't want our classroom to be out of control and unruly, but at the same time, we want our students to be very engaged. And, rewards can work to your advantage in the classroom. And I've already seen a couple people were talking about that. But how do you keep students engaged, and how do you keep them collaborative? And I think it's really interesting when Dan Pink talks about, giving people this all day away from work to create, whatever they want, with like out any parameters or anything, and they can go off with this little group and just relax and be creative. And for any of you that have had that opportunity to do that, it's oftentimes not when you're having like an enforced in-service day where you have an agenda with what you are supposed to be trying to be engaged in and creative. It's usually when you have those talks with people at your school or in your educational community, where you're just kind of shooting the breeze or having a cocktail after work or snacks, and then all of a sudden everybody's just pop up, pop up, pop up, pop, and then this amazing idea or product comes out of it. And you can see it in the classroom too, depending, you being excited and allowing joy and passion and feelings. And they talk about even anger, not suppressing that. You can find ways to create this passion in the classroom that will highly engage and motivate your students. I have a fun example today. I was kind of teasing them about periods of time because, I teach American history literature. And so we were talking about 1600s and the Salem witch trials. And then I just kind of threw out the fact that the East Coast has a lot of cool, like, creepy places and creepy stories. And then I started to go back to what I was talking about, and there was like, well, wait, Miss Wood, what do you mean by that? And so I took the opportunity to skip over into the 1800s and talk a little bit about the Lizzie Borden house and the trial of Lizzie Borden. And I was just kind of feeding them teasers again. And then I went away and I came back, and they were just they were so interested and they were so engaged. And I kept saying, no, 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 we're going to argue and debate this, months from now. No, the more information I gave them, they just started going in class. And the whole classroom was engaged and they were ready to learn about this period of time and all of the theories about why she was acquitted. And they wanted more and more information. And even when I said something, I could see that they were already they were asking me questions to relate to what I was saying. And they were very passionate. They were very angry. They were also very joyous in making these connections. And I could see that this collaboration, this engagement was going to really motivate the class to want to study more. I'm sure that they were on their phones or at home looking it up, because, I left them on a cliffhanger. And I think we all have the ability to do things like that. I mean, obviously, we're teaching math or language or science or English or art because we ourselves are passionate about it. And so, you want to have your controlled classroom, but you want to find a way to be passionate about your teaching that creates students who are highly motivated to find out more information about it. And your students, your age group, what they like, how to lead them, okay, to where they're going to be like, wow, this is more interesting. I want to find out more about this. And then get in collaborate groups where they can be self-directed, give them a broad parameter about whatever you're going to have them create so that, there's room for them to be creative. And it's pretty amazing what you can get from your classroom with that. And I'm sure some of you already know this, especially my experienced teachers in here. So I just wanted to say that very briefly. I'm already at 7 minutes. So you're working on your group projects. You should have all been in touch with everybody by now. You've got your discussion board, you've got the videos, but that shouldn't take you long this week. I've made it a very light week while you are working on your group projects. So contact me if you need anything. Remember, projects are due Sunday on or before 11:59 p.m. And don't forget your discussion board on Thursday. And go back to your classroom and start looking at your own classroom and how you can allow that joy, that passion, even anger, which can come up in debate, advocacy, those types of things to bring engagement and not just compliance, and to find that way to bring in autonomy and mastery into your classroom. And we will talk more. Okay? Have a good week. Bye-bye.